I was interested when I was only about 7 or 8. I used to go out when I come home from school. I go out and help Daddy like what he was doing, making them by hand at that time. Like yeah, the way of life. You don't always make it can be hard work, but if you enjoy what you're doing, it can be a lovely way of life, good life. Like you're out in the fresh air. And you can get and the love for animals. You get very fond of animals. You wait for their newborns to arrive, and then you watch them growing up, and then they come into their new cows. Like when they're 2 year old, they have a calf, and they start milking. And then we used to give them turnips that time, and he had this little machine for cutting up the turnips, like. And then you'd have to go turn this handle and turn it, and then you had to bring it into them, where they were tied, bailed up that time. They were bailed up in a cow house, like and you had to feed up these turnips and then bring him hay and all that every day in the winter. Like then you let him out in the middle of the day, like, and to get water out in the field, you let him out for a few hours, and then you bring him back in again because you had to clean him out, like and back in. That was your day's work, bringing him back in again. Yeah, when I was about 10-year-old, then I had to go and milk cow do it myself, like. And the sister as well. You used to make this cow get this stool, and then if you making the stool, maybe the legs would come loose under the stool, and we start falling over and everything. And the legs would get loose in the stool. Bucket of milk, and you're milking away, and maybe she had to kick halfway through, and half the milk would be split around the place. Yeah. And then you had to go to this great little strainer way up on top of it. This yoke used a little agitator. It used to turn around in the can. Like a little lad. The way you mix a cake, like thing like that, down in it, like, and turn around in the milk can. And the water used to drive it. They put a hose onto it and used to drive it, and all the water flow down the outside of the can as well to cool the milk, like. And before you'd send it down, and then you have to carry it, load it up onto the tractor and bring it down to the road. And this great milk stand, I had to lift it up on that the way it'd be easy for a man to load it onto his trailer, like. Yeah. And I used to couldn't wait in the morning to come, because that was the first time I drove the tractor to bring these milk cans down to the road every morning. I thought it was great gas altogether. I mean, the first tractor, like, as well. Oh, it'd take probably about an hour to milk 12 cows, I'd say. And then when I was about 25, we got the milking machine, I think, yeah. Like, that was a big shock to the system, because we were behind a milking parlour, like, and the cows were never milked by a machine in their life, like, and a new machine went in, and the cows were brought in, and the first day we brought them in, and then we had to carry them into the place. Just lay down. They lay down outside the door and refused to go in. And remember, the neighbour said to us, like, don't go back to milking with the hand, keep trying. And eventually, like in a few days, they actually come in and got meat, like, But it was hard work, I'll tell you that. But sure, it was something to come forward from milking with the hands to this machine. And like, it was a milking parlour, which a lot of them were running milking with bucket plants. You had to carry the milk over in a bucket, still and put into the can, like. Then we got this little small tank. It was on wheels, little small portable tank, and you hooked up this to the tractor and brought it down to the road. And the milk tank didn't come in. The milk tanker wouldn't come in. Only when we way out the road for you, like, and sucked it up out the road. And trying to get up in the milking part, I had to get 2 boards to run up these 2 ramps, like, It's something else. That's the first milk tank we had. We had that for a few years, and then you had to bring in fresh bedding for them, and they come in then, and they'd have all this feed in front of them in a big truck. You'd have turnips and barley meal and all that sort of stuff. It's all hard work. It was all manual, run by hand. Land, sure. When I was 83, we bought land, bought greens, like. So we had to bring the cows along the road. You had to bring them half a mile down the road and over a lane. It took nearly an hour to get him home. To bring him home morning and evening. And you had to have 2 people on the road, because it was dangerous with the cars. Slow down the cars. Like, he'd look over and he'd say, "Now give them 10 minutes for to come with the cows." Next minute you go down, someone go down me at the lane for to give him a hand up the road with it. So you had to have 2 people there all the time, like. So then we bought this land anyway, and we got off the road, and we had all into one piece, which was much handier. I think more cows then as well. For 30 cows or what, like. After that, then things got a bit handier, and there was no more hay, like, there was no more turnips, just making silage for them, feeding out to them. They actually ate themselves the first time. They ate out the pit themselves when they started first. They didn't feed it into them with a wire, and they ate, like, as they went along. They ate the pit themselves, like, put electric fence in front of it, and they had this big cow with a great big horn. She was a big Hereford cow. She had horns that length. And I wouldn't let her go somewhere. She hit me, poke and drove me flat out me back with these big horns. Like, you can still remember it. The pink bells was because it was helping cancer research, was it? Yeah, helping cancer research. Like, why wouldn't you get the different bells? Like, if I was going to help someone, like every colour, but I would nearly prefer the black and white. Like, but it probably has a great advantage because it probably frightens off the birds anyway. Oh yeah, women can do it farm equally as good as any man. Like, yeah, maybe they have more patience than the man to do it. Yeah, so it's always tradition for men to do the farming. When women look after the house. Then, like years ago, people, the family, maybe they didn't move out, and the sisters and the brothers would be farming on the one farm. And maybe the women have hens and all that sort of stuff, and turkeys. And myself and my sister were brought up in the old dwelling house. We were brought up there. I remember the first time we got our first television. It was only a black and white one. And there was this great long stool over at the dresser where all the Delphin and father gave out. There was no one doing nothing now around the place because this television is the worst thing to ever come in because no one would do any work. Like, it was we were all sitting there any chance we could, sitting there looking at this television. Like, and we used to love doing that. I used to love watching television. With the house, it was, I suppose, what could you say about the house? Ended up behind this cooker, and I remember when the first time we got in the water in the house, and we thought this was great altogether, and then we got in the cooker and hot water, and they'd been laid on in the house. And the walls of the house are about 3 foot thick, and then there was thatch under the roof, like, but it was really well insulated. It could be very warm in the winter and cold in the summer. Because the clay walls kept the heat out, like in the summer, but kept the heat in the winter. And in the summer, you had to whitewash the outside of the house. You had to get this whitewashed and brush through all the walls and the outside, and maybe paint the doors and the roof.